Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another wonderful video. This is going to be a review of yet another review, I guess, of the Philips SHP9500 headphones. Just like all my other videos, I paid with this for my own money. This was not provided by the manufacturer. You know, this is not a sponsorship. I'm not being paid for my opinion. So, I can be 100% honest with you. That being said, the reason I got these is I wanted to dip my toe into open-back headphones, and I figured this was a fairly affordable way to do it at around $60. And supposedly, from everything I've heard, these are supposed to be really good, so that's why I got them, to find out how good they are. Obviously, here we have just the box, because sometimes people like to look at boxes in these videos. It's really not very exciting. It's a box, right? It shows the stuff it comes with: the headphones, a cord, and adapter. And just for fun, I thought I would, you know, and this is a little bit different for me, doing kind of the unboxing and initial reaction in my living room. Typically, I shoot this stuff in a certain room of the house, but I thought it'd be nice for a slight change of scenery here. So let's go ahead and get the seal off. There we go. And let's get the... Alright. So what we have here, getting the best fit, just some stuff, whatever. So, alright, outer box out of here. We got the inner box. See what we got in here. Probably the relevant bits. It has, hey, it comes with a bag, or maybe that's not a. I guess you can reuse this, but not exactly high quality. That's disposable. So obviously we got the headphones. And audio cable, which is great because it's just a standard 2.5mm jack, or 1/8 inch, and of course you got your 1/4 inch adapter here, and that can just pop on and off. So let's throw the 1/4 inch jack in the box, so I won't be using it right this second. And let's get the cable unfurled as much as we can, I guess. I think it's about 4.5 feet long or so. Those are the cable ends, and there's the cable. Just a very standard, boring type of cable. So, and then here are the headphones themselves. A little creaking there. And alright, feels like a nice plushy material. Let's go ahead and there's with the cable in it. Exciting stuff. So I guess, of course, it looks like they are what I would call somewhat articulated. They don't go flat, they only bend in some. Nice clicky headband there. The only disappointment so far is the fact that these don't fully articulate one direction or another. Because I have some pretty cheap headphones that do. That's much cheaper than this. That's the only, thus far, the only downside to these. Other than that, I mean, they look nice enough. So yeah, I'm gonna try these things on. We just adjust out the headband there. There's the top of the headband. And you'll get my initial reaction here, real time. I snapped it into place. It feels, you know, pretty good comfort-wise so far. Now the real test is going to be the sound. And I got an old iPod Nano right here. I'm going to plug it in here to that. And I'm going to take a listen here to some music that'll be copyrighted. I don't know how loud the camera will pick it up, but because one thing I always hear is how one of the complaints about these that I've heard online is the bass can be a little bit anemic. So I'm going to find out how true that actually is. Alright, now I'm listening to Closer by 9 Inch Nails, which is a pretty good bass test track, and it sounds really good to me. I don't hear any anemic stuff going on. It's got plenty of low end. Very different sound from what I'm used to. Absolutely. Interesting. I'm just kind of doing a live reaction here, and see if I can skip ahead in the song a little bit to a little more. I don't know, so far I think these have a pretty relaxed sound, which is not a bad thing. I'm going to listen to a little bit of Metallica now. A little bit of Enter Sandman. Let's skip ahead a bit in the song. Alright. And yeah, guys, I do know that the screen on my phone is a little bit not my phone, my iPod's a little bit messed up, but that doesn't affect the sound quality. So far, it's a very relaxed sound, like I said. I'm definitely going to have to do a whole bunch of listening before I can give any sort of conclusions to this. I've got to compare it with my other headphones side by side that I have and see how much I like these in comparison to those. But yeah, out of the box, it's a very interesting sound. But again, this is just a really, really fast initial reaction. So obviously I'm going to live with these for a little while, come back and give you a whole bunch of info. See you guys in a bit. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on these headphones? Well, I've been living with these for a while now. I got these early in January, I think around the 3rd or so, and here I am on the tail end of January 31st talking about what I think of these so far. So, first of all, I'm just going to go over the, we did take a look at the physical aspects of this headphone, of course, in the first part of this video, but I'll talk a little bit about it again. I think these are very durable headphones. The only thing I don't like about the physical aspect of them is the ear cups don't swivel at least 180 degrees. That would be nice, because if they go flat, it would make it easier to storm or whatever, but it's definitely not what I would consider a major deal breaker. The quality of the materials feels pretty good, and one thing that I can easily say about these headphones is their comfort is second to none. Now, I don't own lots and lots of pairs of headphones, but I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them, and these are the most comfortable headphones that I own, bar none. They can be on your head all day long, and you get no fatigue from wearing them. Some people complain that these are like sweat magnets. Well, I only listen to them at home. I didn't like walk around with these and do a whole lot of activities. So all I did with these was sit basically in a solitary spot and listen to them. And these didn't collect sweat for me at all, even after wearing them for like extended periods of time. No sweat collected in these. They didn't get warm, any of that stuff. So whatever. But But yeah, the hype around these headphones, at least as far as the comfort goes, is absolutely justified. These things are ridiculously comfortable compared to other headphones that I own and have experienced. They are awesome in the comfort department. So there's that. Generally, I like the way these things look. We all know about the indicators. Nice, solid, clicky. Obviously on both sides, so no trouble there. Yeah, as far as the physical aspect of them go, they're pretty darn nice and pretty good quality. I think they'll probably last for a good long time before something breaks on them. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So that's my opinion of the physical aspect of them. So in a way, they are my favorite headphones physically because they are the most comfortable headphones that I own. Now, let's talk about the much more important aspect, and that, of course, is the sound quality, right? People praise these as like the second coming of Christ or something sometimes when they're talking about the sound quality of these. Here's the thing about these headphones as far as the sound quality goes. When I first got these and started listening to them, I thought it sounded good on certain things, but I didn't think it was as good as what some of the hype was, right? In fact, I thought when I first got these, I thought, well, they are nice and detailed, and they sound lush in certain things, and I found them to be very relaxing headphones to listen to with good soundstage, but I wasn't completely taken aback by these right out of the box, right? So basically, I did do some comparisons with another pair of headphones of mine, and that are the Audio-Technica ATH M50X, which of course some people love and some people hate. It just depends on your taste. Personally, I do like the way these headphones sound, but mostly I was doing it to compare open back to closed back. I know these are very different headphones. And their sound presentations are quite different, and I'll get into some of the differences here in a minute. But I mostly did it because I just wanted to hear closed back versus open back, right? Just to see if I would particularly like one better than the other. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my results, right? When I first got these, before I listened to them for a couple of weeks on end, basically, when I first got them, I did a bunch of comparisons, right? So I'm not going to go over every piece of music that I did, but basically for the M50s, I did a certain number of trials. I'm not sure, but I'm about to give you the stats. So basically, for 25 musical selections, I preferred the M50s, right? I preferred the Philips only on 11 of the musical selections. So I was like, well, obviously the M50s have to be a lot better, but of course that doesn't include what I considered the toss-up category. And what I considered the toss-up category, at least with the initial before the break-in, right, I thought the M50s were more detailed, more precise. You could hear more of what was going on with the M50s, but I thought the Philips had better tone quality, or I just preferred the sound of it, right? So there were 10 toss-ups. So essentially, if we include the toss-ups, which would be, in my opinion, subjective opinion, which one you liked better, it was, if we include those as, quote, wins for the Philips, that was 21 to 25. Very respectable showing for the Philips, right off the bat, right? It wasn't like these were stomping all over the Philips, because they were not even really close to that. So, but I thought to myself, you know what? I need to, because some things that I listened to right off the bat with the Philips, I thought sounded awful. For example, when I was listening to Master of Puppets right out of the box, I thought these sounded like shit. Pure and simple. The Philips sounded really bad, like basically retro, underwater, kind of just I thought the Philips sounded really bad, and there were a few other pieces of music where I thought the Philips sounded really bad, okay? So essentially what I did at that point, and I'm really glad I did this because I almost made the video and gave my conclusions, right? But I didn't do that because I've been busy, I've had a lot going on, which is good. Because basically for about 3 weeks, I didn't even really use my speakers very much. I just listened through these headphones like everything. I listened to a bunch of YouTube, Netflix, all that, movies. Everything sounded totally fine through these, by the way. I also, you know, tested gaming because everybody talks about how great these are for gaming. I am, at best, a very mediocre gamer, and I did not perform any better or worse wearing these headphones than because I, of course, tried different headphones, right, with my gaming, and I performed very similarly no matter what headphones I was wearing, because, again, I'm not that good, so didn't really make much of a difference. I can't say that these are amazingly great for gaming. That's whatever. I know to some people they are, but for me, they're just like any other headphones, gaming-wise. And as far as movies and speech and all that stuff goes, these were totally fine for all that stuff. No better or worse, really, than any other headphones that I own. They were just, you know, totally fine. And I was listening to music, a lot of music, over the course of those couple weeks as well. And I thought these basically sounded good on most pieces of music. You know, I thought sounded fairly good through them, right? So, more or less, what happens is 3.5 weeks pass, maybe about 3.5 weeks. And I'm like, you know what? I want to finish this video about these headphones. But before I do, just to see if the sound has changed, I'm going to pit them against the M50s again, right? So I have a second set of stats that's a little different from my first set. Of course, the first thing I listened to was Master of Puppets, again, because, again, I thought that sounded really bad on these. And I was kind of amazed how much the sound improved on Master of Puppets listening to these versus when I first got them. The improvement in the sound quality was vast. Hugely better. The M50s still were better overall than these on the track Master of Puppets, but these had grown by leaps and bounds. They no longer sounded really bad to my ears. So, of course, what that precipitated was me listening to all of the same pieces of music again, plus some additional pieces of music as well, just so I could get more data on this, right? So here are the results, essentially, of the second round. For the second round, I preferred the M50s in 25 pieces of music. I preferred the Philips in 15 pieces of music. And it was a quote-unquote toss-up in 13 pieces of music. So if we count those toss-ups, you know, as a win for the Philips or bonus or whatever, the Philips slightly edged out the M50s after 3 weeks of quote-unquote break-in, right? Prior to this, I never really believed in break-in for audio. I always thought that was a little bit of a myth, but I think certain things, maybe like speakers and headphones, I think break-in maybe can be a real thing because the sound of these definitely changed and, in my opinion, greatly improved after a few weeks, and that doesn't usually happen. So let's go ahead and get down to the breakdown of what kind of music sounded better on the Philips or the M50s, right? So what did I think sounded better on the Philips? Well, what sounded better on the Philips to me was basically what I would call well-recorded music, right? Music that sounds really good. And what I mean by that is classic rock that was recorded really well tended to do better on the Philips. Queen, for example, did better. You know, more acoustic type of music sounded better on the Philips, like Apocalyptica, for example, which I just listened to the all-cello stuff of theirs. Some pop music, surprisingly, sounded better on the Philips because some people complain about lack of bass on these. These do not lack bass. The bass is most definitely present on the Philips, right? It's very much there and very audible, and in my opinion, sounds really good. Yes, it's deeper on the M50s, but it's still there on the Philips. It definitely doesn't lack bass at all. And a lot of artists, when I was listening to them, because I would try to at least listen to a couple of songs across different albums by the same artist, some things sounded better on the Philips for that same artist, and some things sounded better on the M50. So there was no hard and fast rule. It was really sort of random as to which one I preferred almost. But again, generally, better recorded music sounded better with this. More modern music, like, I don't know, modern death metal sounded better on the M50s. Modern metal in general sounded better on the M50s. Hard rock, it was, again, a toss-up. Hip-hop, I'm not a huge hip-hop fan, but I did listen to the Beastie Boys. It was actually a toss-up between the two. I really couldn't pick a favorite. Pop music, Michael Jackson. One song I preferred, it was a split. On Smooth Criminal, I preferred the Philips, and on Thriller, I preferred the M50. So, on a lot of types of music, it was literally like a 50-50 split. And it was really difficult for me to say, you know, one headphone is significantly better than the other. So, basically, at the end of the day, I can't say that these are significantly better than these, or it's really hard to pick a favorite, but here's what I can tell you. The sound presentation of these two headphones is entirely different. With the M50s, if you are familiar with them, essentially with them being a closed back headphone, they have much worse soundstage than the Philips do, right? That's to be expected. And with the M50s, everything, like all of the instruments, the vocals, everything is pushed right into your head. Like, sound presentation is like all right there, right next to your head. Everything is just like right there. The mix is just boom, right in your face, right there. And that's why I think you can generally, not always, but a lot of times you can hear more detail in the M50s than you can the Philips, because basically everything is just pushed to the front. Like, mix is like, it's just pushed right in your face. Whereas the M50, or I'm sorry, with the Philips, music has a little bit more room to breathe. And what's interesting is vocal tracks are pushed more to the forefront with the Philips than with the M50s. So I would honestly say, if you're like a, quote, person who likes to sing along, the Philips are going to be better for you, because the vocal harmonies are really pushed to the forefront with the Philips as compared to the M50. So there probably is better instrument separation in the Philips. So as far as which one you are going to prefer, it's going to be down to personal preference, right? It's going to be this whole thing. I don't know which one I like better. I like them both, and I like them for different reasons. But I have to say, if I want because these are also very easy listening. Like, you can listen to these all day and not get any ear fatigue really at all. So I guess if I really want like a nice all day listening experience that's extremely comfortable and sounds really good, I'm probably going to reach for the Philips more often than the M50s if I'm going to listen for an extremely long session. The Philips are going to win out based on their comfort and their relaxed sound. But if I really want to hear every little tiny bit of the mix, I'm probably going to go for the M50s. So they're kind of differently oriented, right? Just depending on what you want to hear in your music is going to be which one would be, quote, better for you. Now, of course, this only applies in a home listening environment, because these are open headphones. You're not going to want to walk around with these outside, because with open-backed headphones, obviously the sound projects out, and everyone can hear what you're listening to, right? So these only work at home. You know, they don't work anywhere but your house. So if you want to listen to your headphones anywhere but your house, these are going to be a terrible choice to listen to anywhere but home. Absolutely terrible. Would not recommend. these, you can listen to these at home or really wherever you want to, you know, but these are at home only, so there's that to keep in mind. But for me, for at home listening, I think these are absolutely great, and for an entry point into open backed audiophile style headphones, I think these are a great jumping on point because of their affordable price, and honestly, they do have really great sound. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think these are great. I think these are definitely worth checking out, and that is pretty much it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, got some good information out of it. If you are interested in picking a pair of these up, please see my link in the description below, and it'll take you to my Amazon affiliate page, and that does help the channel out, and it's hugely appreciated. But other than that, that's it. So, as always, thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please take a look around, see if you like it. That's it. Live long and prosper. Keep on rocking.